Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming to the Quick Resume podcast. There's been a Halo event. Halo continues to dominate the charts. The Xbox Series S is coming out on top for Black Friday. There's all of this and more to speak about today. Okay, thanks for coming, everyone. If you haven't been here before, my name's Deck. That handsome guy over there is Tim. We form the QRP together, and we're on episode 33 now. It's ticking along. It's ticking along. Soon we're going to be at the 1 year anniversary, and that's going to be weird because we literally were like, should we do a podcast? And then we did it the next weekend, and now we've done 33 episodes, 33 weeks of it. So committed.
Yeah, it's kind of flown by. Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know. You say committed, but I think the best way to do it. I mean, you do most of the work. I know that in terms of like preparing the notes and everything. But I think as long as you just kind of keep it chill, kind of keep it fun, it doesn't really feel like much of an extra thing to do, like an extra fucking job or something. Because we kind of just did it because we wanted to just talk about games, right? Aside from the mindless nonsense we talk to each other like online when we play games, we wanted to talk a little bit more in depth and stuff.
But I was going to say, I just like having an excuse to talk to you about games, you know.
Yeah. No, it's good fun, man. And it's definitely opened my eyes up to a lot of the background, more in depth stuff as well, because that's quite surface level with a lot of the games.
There's been so much to talk about, as you know, with Xbox. So it's just been it's going to continue to be that way, apparently, because you'd think there's no way. I mean, obviously other podcasts do it, but you would think, looking from the outside in, there's no way you can do a weekly show talking about just Xbox stuff. There we are.
No, well, we wouldn't be able to if we were talking about New Amiibo launched.
Yeah, what happened to Labo? Like the origami Labo.
Oh, the fucking cardboard shit. I don't even know, dude. Labo is fucking deado.
I guess so.
It really is.
Nintendo deado. Wow. Okay, so how are we this week? How are we doing, Timbo?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm great, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I've just been fucking blitzing Halo, like absolute crazy. Tell you what, it's been a long time since I've had a game that it's like 5:01 and I slam my work laptop shut and I play. I just go on to Halo like religiously. It's been a long time since I felt that way about a game, and we even meet on at lunchtime.
Working from home. I mean,
when the fuck have we ever done that in video game history?
I remember when I was younger. I remember like cycling home between classes when we were in like college, like to pick up my copy of Black Ops 2 that got delivered, and I wanted to check it got there, and I like snuck a game of multiplayer before I had to go back or whatever. But that's like the closest thing. But yeah, like the fact because we're working from home and it's like 12:30, like you on for lunch? Yeah. Pops up with your game
just munching at the mic,
just to squeeze in some games here and there. Yeah, man, it's pretty addictive, in all the best ways.
It is, yeah, and it's and I mean, I think it just goes to show just how much you can just praise the core gameplay of it as well, because how addictive it is, and everyone is absolutely flaming the progression and customization and stuff like that. But we still find ourselves playing it just non-stop. And, like my reward, like 90% of the time is just 50 match XP, right? Towards a battle pass. But I still play for like fucking 5-6 hours a day after work or something stupid. And I think that just goes to show just how good the game is, really.
Yeah. And I like, it's nice because you get like, I think it's, I mean, people are gonna, and we'll talk about this more, but people are going up and down on like the amount in the game as of right now in terms of contents, modes, and I think we used the word serviceable to describe it last week. Again, we'll speak about it a bit more, but nonetheless, what makes there's so much variety here, I think, is that you've kind of got that 4v4 like quick play, and then you've got BTB because like when we hop on for lunch or whatever, we play some Fiesta or quick play together arena, yeah, and then in the evenings when everyone's on, there's like 8 of us in a party playing BTB, and it's just mental. Like, I can't. There's nothing like it. It's just. I know it sounds really weird because like, that is not a novel concept, but like I just can't. And I know there have been games, I guess, where you can have bigger parties, like COD or Battlefield, but
I think at that point it just becomes too chaotic. I mean, that even was brought up like yesterday or the day before. One of our mates was just like, it's weird that Halo is doing big scale warfare better than Battlefield, right? And I think it's because Battlefield is just, it's 128. It's just fucking chaos. I mean, I know I played Battlefield 2042 for like a few hours because I had a little trial, and it was just chaos. Like, sure, it's quite fun and there's some good moments in there and stuff like that, but it's just, majority of the time it's just, there's just too much going on. You just can't possibly predict. Like you hop on a building to have a look around, and if you're not being shot by like a helicopter or a fucking jet engine, you've got like 10 snipers looking at you because there's just that many players on the other team,
and you have just such little swing on the outcome of the game as well, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah. You kind of, with Halo, I think it's a perfect balance where, like, even if you go in and queue as a 4 or a 5 or something like that, like, you still can make a big impact on that game. Like, you get a double or a triple kill and grab the OBJ. It's still big scale warfare, but that matters still. And, that's going to probably be a point for your team or something like that. I kind of completely agree. And I think, I mean, if you were to say what your favourite sort of playlist is, what would you say? What are you feeling at the moment? Are you more of a quick play guy? Do you like your BTB? Or are you just sort of like, depends on the situation?
I don't know. I think if you'd asked me this like just before launch or at launch, I'd have probably said quick play, but I think it's gotten, and I wouldn't have expected to, but I've been having more fun the more people we've been with. Like, even like, because we've been playing with like friends of friends, people that we don't usually speak to, but it's just like Halo's brought us all together, and it's just
an
because it's like controlled chaos, and like you don't need, like, obviously Battlefield does these things differently in terms of Battlefield moments and like big scripted things that happen, but Halo is like, it's very freeform. Like, crazy shit happens. Yeah, okay, it's not a massive tornado swirling through the map, but it's like you getting a quad with a single barrel, or like, 2 of us driving around in a mongoose and nicking the flag, or, just shit like that. Like grapple jacking onto a Banshee and everybody seeing it. Me getting like airlifted across the map on a wasp to the other wasp so that we have both of them. Like this shit it's just mental, and it's so like I have really enjoyed that recently, but I think I enjoy them both without a doubt. I want to play a bit more ranked again, to be honest, because I was thinking about this because not many games launch with ranked now. That's not like common, so it's quite nice that they have it in at launch. And obviously, we did our 10 qualifiers and got a pretty decent ranked rank. Want to give it a go again, but yeah, I'd probably say at the moment BTB, to be honest, which is not what I was expecting.
Yeah. No, I'd actually agree with you. I'd actually say even when we're not queuing, it's like an 8. Like, we were just hopping in as like a 4 and a 5 last night, and I was still enjoying that more than quick play, I think.
So good.
Arena. It was just good fun, and yeah, nice little shout out for my little overkill with a.
I put it on Twitter, mate. It's already there. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It is? Yeah.
If anybody's following us on Twitter or is interested, you can go and have a look. There's a clip of this guy right here getting a 4-piece with a single fucking barrel. It's nuts. It's a nuts clip. Sorry, Fusion Core. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Mate, I'm a Fusion Core main. Like, I actually challenge anyone. I think I might have the most Kong medals in Halo Infinite.
I think you might have a lot. I think,
like, genuinely, I
think you're up there. I
think
the competition is stiff for sure. And I've been seeing a couple of videos. Actually, I just one of someone like getting a cross map Fusion Core kill, and it's like, this is like ushering a new era of like cross map throwing knives. Like cross map throwing is just toss them.
Yeah, tomahawks. Yeah, they're great, man. Yeah. I love it. They're the absolute best.
That's so good.
But yeah, just kind of crazy wacky moments happen like that all the time. And yeah, I've kind of just been playing crazy amounts of Halo as per usual. And you know what was really weird? I'm gonna give you two guesses of what I hopped on and played
Hunt Showdown
yesterday with fuck you you stalking me on the app.
Yeah,
It's not fair.
I was confused. So I wanted to see if you were all on or not, but yeah.
Yeah, we played some Hunt Showdown, man, and it was great. Like me and our friend, I won't name drop him, but we played for like 3 hours.
Good game, man.
Like I do really enjoy that game. Yeah, I kind of just fancied a change of pace. I was just playing Halo for so long, and it was just like, and it was just such a crispy, fairly fast-paced shooter, especially if you're playing arena and stuff like that. I was like, I kind of just want something slow, something that has PvE in it as well. And I had a great time, man. It's really
atmospheric.
We won a few games. We lost. Yeah, it is really atmospheric. Yeah, and yeah, we fought one of the new bosses, that lady that's covered in like junk and stuff lady. Like that. She's called like the Scavenger or something.
Still hasn't got next shot up there, has it?
I don't think so. No, it didn't feel 60.
Yeah, I do check in on the subreddit every now and then to see if it has, and I haven't seen anything last time I checked, which was probably like last month. Because it's like the only thing holding the game back, I think, from like being a game I played more. But like, fuck me, did they miss the mark? Because now that Halo's out, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it has a place. Like, I'm kind of up for hopping on it again today.
I more mean like player counts though,
with our friend. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was just a really nice change of pace. It was just something really different. And then obviously I hopped back on Halo later and blitzed it. For anyone's interested, I had a 22-0 game, and then I had an 18-0 game. So those screenshots might make it onto Twitter. I'm not really too sure yet.
You log on and you share them on Twitter.
Because I was about to say I have access to our Twitter as well, so those might get leaked. I don't know. I'll be like, damn, our account got hacked again, and these images got leaked.
Feeling OP, might delete later.
Which brings me on to the thing that I think that Halo should do, which is something Apex does, and I think it'd be really cool. Is I don't know if they could get it on your little banner, you know, where you make your emblem and you make your banner, or if you just like click on someone's name, it comes up with their Spartan and their service record. But I think it'd be really cool if you could just pin like 3 medals to like your service record, and then obviously it stat tracks how many times you've had that medal. So like I could pin double kills to my service record. I could pin overkills. And anyone who like clicks or looks at my banner or anything, it's got a little overkill emblem, and it has like times 50. You know, and anyone looking at my service record on my banner can be like, "Wow, that dude's got 50 overkills. That's pretty cool." You know, it just kind of just like tracks your medals and stuff, because I got a perfectionist medal yesterday, and that's one of the hard.
And you want to flex, goddammit.
And I want to flex that shit. Like, no one knows I have that, and I know that Halo tracks how many times you know. I know that eventually it will be baked into the game and on like the stat trackers online. I can see that I've had 230 double kills, right? So like, why can't I just like pin that and like flex that on like my service record or something like that? I think that'd be a really cool addition, and that's something Apex does as well. You get like really rare medals, like you've got 20 kills in a game, and you can put that like for everyone to see, like flex it sort of thing. I think that'd be
I like
quite cool.
I like the idea. No, I get where you're coming from there, and you know, I think, but like clearly, like you said, the stats are being tracked. It's just they haven't baked it into the game yet. So you know, I reckon a full stat tracker is will come. And then, but like you said, going a step beyond that and being able to show that off would be like having a showcase kind of thing, like when you click on your Spartan,
and not just having it built like under so many layers, like someone has to like click on a Spartan and then go somewhere else and into medals, and then they can be like, oh wow, you have got a perfectionist, you know, but like I can just straight up just like flex it like right like on my banner sort of thing. I think that'd be I think that'd be really cool. Plus I could show off that I've got like 500 medals. So
but it's just like when you click on a Spartan, it shows you like their rank, like it would be nice to just have it below that, like a strip of showcase medals.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah, I think it would be nice because I do. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Medals, like this. What the fuck? Like no other get like what? Yeah. Why? And they feel good. They always feel good. I love because you know how they like redesign them. I mean, I didn't. So like the things they did from the flighting is they didn't redesign them, but they gave them like a bit more of a like metallic look, and they made them a bit bigger because in the flighting they were fucking minuscule.
Yeah.
And now they're like a good size. Yeah. But God, it does feel good, and like I like the color palette they've chosen for them as well. Like I like how it goes like red when you get that OV, and then it starts getting yellow afterwards. And even with like the kill streak ones that you were talking about, perfection, running right, whatever. It does feel good. It does feel good.
Awesome. Yeah. There's something about like when I got like the Running Riot. I can't remember. 15 Running Riot.
You got Spree, Frenzy, Running Riot, and I don't know what's after that. Rampage?
Yeah. But like, there's just something so cool. Yeah, it's Rampage. Yeah, because it's just something so cool about. Yeah, I hit 15 and I got that really cool looking like purple medal, and I was just like, dude, I'm fucking like I'm on something right now. And then when you hit the next level when I got Rampage, and it's just seeing that medal is just like it's that in itself was just like it was worth it just to like see that. And there's a lot, and like you said, there's a lot of they've redesigned these medals. They've put some time into there. They look really great. Why not let people pin them to their service record? It shows off the artwork of these medals you've made and stuff like that as well. I don't know. I just think it'd be a really cool little fun addition, and just that extra bit of customization for your record, right? So it feels more like you're building a career and like a portfolio.
Sure. And I guess like the upside to it, well, in terms of what they've done that's in the game at the moment, is that end of match report is usually quite nice. It's just like that quite clean screen. It has your main stats, depending on the game mode, and then it has like all the medals that you got, and then your Spartans. So, that Carnage report is definitely designed for like screenshot. You know what I mean? Like that's like what you sent to me. So I guess that's the upside. But yeah, I'm totally with you.
Yeah, it breaks down. It breaks down everything, doesn't it? Yeah, it has your kills, it has your accuracy, it has your assists, deaths, all your medals lined up perfectly. Your Spartan there with sort of pose, and it's just like, it's just made for screenshots and to show off. And I don't know. When I was just hitting all those medals last night, I was like, it'd just be really cool if people could see that I have these, and it's a nice little flex. I think a lot of gamers would appreciate that, especially like competitive gamers, because people strive to get these medals and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. I think it's a really nice idea actually, and I think that is kind of the benefit, I suppose, of which a lot of people would probably get angry at me saying, but this is probably one of the benefits of that sort of that free-to-play 10-year model kind of thing, is that this stuff will undoubtedly be integrated at some point, especially if the community's asking for it. 343 have a pretty good track record of doing that, especially with MCC and what we've seen so far with Infinite. But yeah, holy shit, we're still going. So I mean, I think what we'll do is, because we don't have that much on the agenda today, other than sort of free-flowing about Halo, which we could probably do for hours alone, so we will try not to bore you to death with it. But nonetheless, there'll be timestamps if you want to skip Halo. You're more than welcome to do that. But while we're kind of on the kind of the free flow conversation, I wanted to ask how you're now feeling. Arguably, we're out of the honeymoon phase. Arguably. It's been 2 weeks now or something, hasn't it? It's been like 2 weeks since launch. We've had our first event, and I want us to talk about the event separately, so not quite thinking about that just yet. But so how are you feeling now that we're kind of out of the honeymoon phase, do you think? Have you sobered up a bit, or are you still kind of in love with it?
I mean, it's pretty obvious. We're both. I mean, I don't want to speak for you as well, but we're both pretty still in love with it. In terms of a core gameplay perspective, me too. I'm so tired of putting on
the bloodshot eyes.
Halo. So
I was just thinking about that fucking motivational when we were playing BTB and we just played the same map and the same mode, and I was like, oh my God. Literally, like we had like 15 seconds of silence, and like the last bit of energy that I could push out with my voice was, "Come on, boys, do it through your bloodshot eyes." And then it just went back to silence.
Oh mate, that cracked me up. That fucking made
we
me
were
laugh so hard. It's like 1 a.m. Yeah, we've been grinding. We're trying to get this because one of our mates had a challenge to get like a total control win, and we just kept getting everything but total control, just all the time. And yeah, we queued like the same map that we had like 4 times in a row, and it was like Slayer, and we were like halfway through the game, like 12 o'clock, 1 a.m. No one has spoke for minutes, yeah, and then Dex just like keep going, guys. keep playing through those bloodshot eyes. We can do it. And it just fucking cracked me up. Dude. This is exactly how
I hadn't blinked
feeling.
in like 20 minutes. It felt like, oh god, so funny.
It was fucking.
I know, sorry, I
was
derailed
great.
you there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. It was worth it. I
You're
can't
just
even
saying
remember
still
what
having a good. I was asking it now.
really
You know, the
honest.
honeymoon phase, like being outside of that with Halo, and if you still feel like if you're still in love with it, like as much.
Yeah. So obviously, yeah, I am still in love with it. It's fucking fantastic. You know, I still have my issues and concerns with the game. It's not perfect. I do think radar is a little bit annoying. I'm getting used to it, and I'm just adapting as a player. So I'm getting less annoyed by it as the time goes on. And I think a lot of people just need to have that mindset to it as well. Just stop like bitching about it. I mean, right? If a game's like reduce your radar, just kind of get used to it and adapt the way you play. Like, don't scope in as much, you know, all that sort of stuff. You know, keep moving. You know, the more you move, the less, and just like the more you move and the more you rotate, the less likely you are someone's just going to run around behind you.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because that was something I wanted to speak about, because where does the buck end? Because this isn't like just obviously one of our friends is very much both of our friends are very much like this, and we've like shared our feelings on the radar, and you know, maybe being a bit too small, and we know a bigger radar is coming for BTB, and we are adapting. So I'm still in flux. Would I like to see it a bit bigger? Maybe, but again, it's sort of like giving that space to breathe and getting used to it. Like, I'm not in a rush to see it change, but I would like to see them watch this space kind of thing. But my question sort of is, you know, where does the buck end in terms of a radar expansion? Because we know you don't move that much faster in Halo. Like, you can sprint, like, but it makes you like 9% quicker. It's like nothing, you know. So are we really saying that 9% increase is the reason the radar, or is it just because people are walking up to you too fast? Like, what? I don't. So like, if we're gonna say, okay, slap on an extra 5 meters, now what? People are still gonna grapple shot. Because you know all those times where you've like grapple shot and whipped behind someone and just smacked someone twice or got a back smack. It's like they were never going to catch you on the radar. That's still going to happen even if you make the radar big. You're just not going to catch people. Also, people are still using, whether it's, you know, active camos or crouching, like that shit still happens. And these things are always going to feel
I think like
it's the radar's fault when it isn't. Does that make sense? Like, you know.
It does make sense. 100%. And I mean, these things wouldn't be equipment and they wouldn't be powerful items if they didn't cheat the radar a little bit, right? How shit, like a grapple would be absolutely garbage if someone could just see you, a flying red dot coming from fucking miles away. It's just like, it would make the equipment useless. It would make it, you know, all you're doing is just putting yourself out in the open to just get beamed. You know, the whole point is you're fast enough to get to someone without them knowing. Exactly. So, you know, it's very tough because there's so much that goes into the sandbox that revolves around the radar and how it plays. And I think if you increase it and make it 25 meters again, and people are just radar watching, I think that's just the amount of crouch walking and people playing passively and different, that's going to just skyrocket because the game has become like a radar watching. So you're going to see so much more crouching and so much more, you know, annoying types of plays, which you shout at people for doing. You're like, why are you crouching in a fucking corner? You know, like, that's going to happen more if the radar is bigger. So, like, I don't know. Like, the way it is right now, people are running around quicker. There's a lot more rotations. It's a bit more fast-paced because the radar is how it is. And I don't have so much of an issue with it. There are some moments where it is... I do have to just be like, that man was not on my radar. Like, he was absolutely not there. I was just chilling. Like, I wasn't doing anything. I was even like half watching my radar and nothing. Especially when it's like stuff like energy sword and grav hammer, because by the time they're actually on your radar, you're already in their kill zone anyway. So it's just like, how was I supposed to even counter that? How was I supposed to do anything about that? But then you could also argue they're power weapons, right? So it's tough, and I would like it increased, but I don't want it increased to the point it's 25 meters again, because I played a lot of Halo 3, and I know that I was just had my eyes glued to that radar so much, and I don't want to do that. I want to look at what's in front of me a little bit more as well. I don't want to just stare at my radar until I see a red dot and then swoop into action, all the time. I want to be surprised sometimes. I want to make plays sometimes and predict things rather than just have the radar just basically hold my hand and show me where everyone is all the time.
I'm thinking about it now. Like, you can imagine, because I'm pretty sure this was the case in Halo 3, where you would like walk into a doorway and a grenade would just like fly from nowhere and fall under your feet. Because they know you are. Like, they already know you're there. So it's like, you just get nades flying at you, and you don't really. I think it's part of the reason why we have less of a problem with grenades in this game. Like, there are times where, like, there is nade spam, whatever. It's part of what Halo is. There is counterplay there. I think sometimes the game tries to tempt you into crouching in a corner when actually the play is to run away, and like you have to use movement tech to try and get out without being headshot. Things stuff like that. Whereas I would be worried that if the radar was increased more, that those grenade problems would skyrocket, because you'd be naded but before you even knew where anyone was. Like, if someone else was crouched and they knew where you were coming from 25 meters away, a grenade would fall at your feet and then they'd peek and you'd be dead. Like, it would really play to
exactly
to get to a camping play style, and I just feel like would be such a shame, because Halo it feels fun to move around in Infinite. It's one of the biggest credits I can give the game. It just feels fun to move around while aiming and jumping. This kind of removed reliance on sprint has made that feel very smooth. You can aim while you're jumping, and the mantle and like crouch jumping and sliding and all of that. So it's
all great. And like game modes come into play as well. Like, it would be so annoying if the radar was massive again, and like you're just a team holding down like an oddball room, and imagine being that team trying to attack, and just like you said, just them just knowing where you're going to come from so far in advance. It would be so hard to penetrate that defense, and it would just be frustrating. It would just be so frustrating. With the radar as it is, you can make some sneaky plays. You could be quick enough to get behind them or to take a different route without flagging up on their radar quite as much. And I'm kind of okay with how it is right now. And if you're going to increase it, do it by like a few meters, a couple meters maybe. I don't want it to go from 18 to 25. I think that's too much of an increase. Put it to like 20.
I think that's
20.
I think that's what they're doing for BTB.
Like
I think it's going to 22.
Yeah, and then give like 22 or something for B2B, and like 20 for arena. Like, just increase it by a couple meters for arena or something. Because arena's small, there's less players, so it's radar is a lot more of a big deal. I think. Whereas BTB, I think even if it's at like 30 meters, it doesn't matter, because you're just like, okay, great. I see 10 red dots on my radar here. It doesn't matter. You're still going to get rolled, even if you know those guys are there and you turn the corner. It's bigger scale.
And
but
there's definitely some things that could be done to kind of assist with that isn't necessarily the radar. Like, I think footstep audio could maybe do with a bit of a touch up. I know Halo isn't a footstep shooter, and that's fine. But like, you do hear footsteps. Like, I think there are some times where it isn't clear, or maybe it's a bit too quiet. And I don't know if that's intentional, but again, with this really, I don't know, because you wouldn't want them to do that thing where they make it pinpoint accurate, and then it's just we just come into the same problem where Kinos have their headsets up to like 150%. And just nade you before you get in the door, so then you come back to the same problem. So it's something that I'm sure the team, the team is like having the conversation about. But I'm just a bit tired of people using the radar as an excuse for every death when it's like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't have, because like ranked doesn't have a radar, so how the fuck are you playing then? You know, like you need to have some game sense, you know, of knowing where people are going to be coming from. And yes, I understand sometimes it's frustrating when people run up to double melee and you didn't have time to react. It does suck. But
yeah, I feel like that happens in every game though.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a bit annoying, and there's been a few times I've done it, but overall I'm not that upset with it. And I'd say, obviously, back to the main point of the discussion is that yes, I'm still enjoying Halo Infinite like crazy. That is one of my gripes, a very minor one that could do with a small tweak, and I'd be happy. And even if they left it, I'd be like, I could see why they left it. I'm just going to adapt as a player, right? I think that's the main point of the argument here is why cry out for something that you played and you got used to fucking ages ago. Just adapt to this game and the way it does it, right? I don't understand why we can't do that. Why can't you play Halo unless you have a 25-meter radar? What's wrong with you? Like, I don't know. It's a really shitty excuse. And just fucking get good, I guess, is the main point of my argument. Just change the way you play a little bit. Don't sit in your scope so much. And then obviously the other main gripe I have is the customization. It's, you know, we've been through this. It's been said to death on
everywhere.
On Reddit.
Yeah.
I was about to say on Reddit. On Reddit. And it's been said to death. Everyone knows it's not fantastic. It's not bad either. If you were to compare it, like you said, when you're like trying to calm me down a little bit and speak rationally, if you compare it to other free-to-play models, it's really not that bad. It's basically the same thing. I don't know why people think just because it's Halo that they should be getting more and they should be doing it like better, or everything should be 50% the cost of something like Apex. Like, why? Like, why? Because it's Halo, do you think it should be?
It's literally
it's weird. It's been put on like a pedestal.
You're absolutely right, and it's that absolute thing of like, oh well, because back in the day we used to get all of it, a full game for $6, and it's like, okay, well, the game also only got supported for like a year or two, and then like that would be it, and then they would have to make additional like revenue by making map packs which segregate the player base, which is like objectively worse. I don't give a fuck what you say, that's worse than people paying for cosmetic like Spartans. That kills games. Like, so like I don't. And then not only that, these teams work themselves to death. So like I'm not in fucking support of like because it's so, because like you I'm not even going to get further into it, but like, no, I don't support people fucking crunching and being in like suffering conditions in their workplace just so you can have like colors built into it. No, they need to make money. They have to do this and that. And if you've got a problem with like the industry standard, like we said, this is really pretty much the same as other free to play models. If you've got a problem with that standard and that model, I think that's fine. To be honest, I still look back at Apex. I look at this and I think that's probably a bit expensive, isn't it? Like we said that from the outset. That's not. I'm not saying that that's not a problem. Those prices are too high. I'm just saying that this is an industry standard practice. And so if you've got a problem with that, really where you should be directing your frustrations is at capitalism. so like, it's so annoying because it's just frustrating to watch the team get so much abuse after having pulled off probably one of the biggest U-turns in like gaming sentiment I've ever seen. Like coming off May 2020. And the faith, I would say bad faith, maybe that 343 had, it was just very spotty because people came to love MCC and Halo 5 obviously was spotty as was 4. So, but yeah, that's my frustration with it. It's like, it gets directed at them and like, no, I don't like development conditions back then were so much worse. You even speak to like Joseph Staten had an interview on IGN earlier this week and he spoke about the condition, and he said like, it was tough. We were like working like 78-hour weeks. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong? Why would somebody want this just so they can have colors? Like, I get it's not like, it's not a one-to-one thing, but I'm just trying to make the point that these things were made possible by crime.
I guess. Yeah, exactly. And I don't have any issue with it per se. My main gripe is the cause. I'm not a huge fan of the cause, which is just a system that they've obviously tried out. And it's a system that's obviously going to stay because they built these skeletons of these Spartans to hold different armor, so it would look weird and like clip and do all this sort of stuff. So I don't think it's going anywhere. Not my favorite thing, but it's not the end of the world either. But like, I think they could improve on the cause if they just made a lot of stuff more universal. I think there are a lot of things that they can make universal. Visor colors. Like, make that universal. There's no reason that a visor color being red on the Mark V and I can't have it on the Mark VII. That's just stupid. Like, it's a color. You're literally changing the tint on a visor. You can make that universal. Helmets, shoulder pads, sure. If it would look weird and you built these different size and shape skeletons of the suits and stuff like that, and it just won't work the way you developed it, fine. But there's some stuff you can make universal. I also think camos, right? I don't see why I should... That new camo for the week, right? The Willow tee that you get for completing your weekly challenge this week. Why can't I have that on both my armor cores? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a color. It should just be universal, right? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I think just changing those sort of things would be way better. And would go a long way for me, at least. And yeah, I don't have an issue per se with the costings or what's in the store. I would like for there to be more stuff in the store. Like, whenever I go to the store, I'm quite underwhelmed. I go there and I'm like, okay, that samurai set that came out with the
Chon Mage.
It's kind of cool, right? Chon Mage. We've made a big deal about Chon Mage.
I really want to get it.
It's kind of cool, great, but then everything else in the store, it's like a red camo that just looks like the same as the red I already have, that was standard issue, and it's like, can that not be cooler? Like, could you not like put a cooler shader in, or like put 3 shaders in a week? So I could be like, oh wow, I go in there and I'm like, all right, well, this week there's one brown shader.
Those blue vehicles look fucking sick.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess.
And the chibi grunt,
the blue vehicle,
a chibi arbiter. Nah, but no, I get what you're saying. Yeah. There's some stuff in there which is very much like I know you've got a default blue for that core, but you can buy a default blue for your other core because you don't have default access to it. Then it's like,
yeah, and it's like, and it's also like £6-7 as well for just like a blue. But like, if it was like a cooler blue with like some yellow thrown in there or something, I'd be like, okay, well that justifies £6. But I'm just like, it's just the same standard blue core. Like, I don't see anything here. It's not exciting at all. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's a lot of it isn't that exciting. And the more I look into it as well, I actually went through like all of the customization options, like camos and helmets and pads and all that kind of stuff. And some of them I clicked on, and there wasn't even an option to go to store and buy them, or there wasn't even like a battle pass level you unlock them. It just said coming soon.
It just means it'll be on the store rotation. And I was like, I guarantee.
Okay, something like that. But like, I was just like, what are these doing here? Like, I only have like 10 shaders to choose from. The 3 of them just say coming soon. Like, what does that even mean? Like,
it's snowing.
Yeah, I don't know. So
sorry, it just don't snow.
Oh, is it? Oh, nice. I've got sunshine where I am. But yeah, so I don't know. Basically, I just think it could use a little bit of love. I think it could use a bit of a shot of adrenaline into it for me. I don't think there's that much to get excited for right now, at least. And the way they've done the event, I guess we should talk about the event. I've been talking for a while. How do you feel about the event?
Well, I mean, I will. Yeah, we will come through to that because I just want to cap off sort of on a couple of things you were saying. Because I think it's a fair point. Because I think and I don't know if it's like intentional that like they're holding back some of the cooler shit because they're aware that they don't want to undermine the battle pass by selling directly really cool shit. Because like if someone's looking through the battle pass, they're like, "Whoa, a level 60! Look at that's actually pretty cool," and they kill it. Ooh. But then they sell a bundle, which is like a cool kill effect, like a wicked shader, a cool armor set. People will just buy that and leave the battle pass, and that's obviously not what they want, the player retention. So I'm thinking maybe they're just collecting data in these first few weeks and months to sort of see how that's going to work and go from there. The other thing was like, the whole, like you said, with the whole shot of adrenaline thing. I guess, obviously this is a subjective. I was this close to buying the chibi pack, and I was this close to buying the blue vehicles, and I'm still thinking about buying the Tron Mage shirt. So I guess whatever is a bit subjective, because I'm thinking about the Samurai set. Obviously, this event's about to go, and that will mean no one will have, until the event rolls around next time, no one's going to have stuff to put on the Samurai set other than the default core that you get in the event, which is at level 4 or whatever it is. So I was just thinking, I'll have like, I'll be in like the minority that has like a cool skin and things for like the next month, and that kind of tickled my pickle a bit. So there's that. I totally hear what you're saying, and just to sort of cycle off, I think on some of your ideas there, because I was going to say I actually haven't heard anyone describe it as well as I think you described it last week when we spoke about sort of this idea of like sort of building up a collection, because we sort of said that there's not a huge amount, there's a serviceable amount at the moment, and that accentuates some of the problems with the progression system. And you said it kind of feels like a sticker book, this kind of thing where it's like it's empty. All you're seeing at the moment is a lot of blank spaces and a lot of potential. And as you fill it up, you have so much to pick from, and it will be really good. But as of right now, it kind of feels a bit empty. So I think that was a really nice way to describe it, which obviously it comes back to accentuating the problems you were talking about. But also, yeah, this idea with like universal stuff, I think you've cracked the fucking case. Like that would be, I think, a good idea to have some, like even if it's, let's say in the next battle pass, 10 out of the, let's say 60 items, what the rest is filler or whatever, are universal. I think it would go a long way to helping sort of make people feel more like they have more.
It just gives people more of a choice. They're not bottlenecked into picking the Mark V because there's more stuff on it. Like,
and the whole cross-core thing, right? It remains to be seen, like you said, because it's I think I said last week, like bots have been seen in the wild with cross-core stuff, and I don't know if that's a bug. And some of the stuff does clip, so like I don't know if it's something they're going to be able to sort of seriously consider unless they rework the whole thing. I would just rather they stuck with that and put more time into putting a bit of effort into stuff which can be made universal here and there. I think that's a great idea. But yeah, so for the event, so for those not aware, we have the first event for Halo, and it's a fracture event, and what that means is that it's like a non-canon event. So it gives the team an excuse to go very, very creative or wacky with some of the designs there, and it's a samurai event. I think it's called Yorai, isn't it? Or Yorai,
Yokai, Yorai, something like that.
Something Eastern. And the armor set looks pretty damn cool. It's undermined a bit because there aren't that many coatings on it, but the actual set itself looks really, really nice. But there has been a bit of controversy before we sort of get into the meat of it around the advertised armor set versus what's actually in the pass. So like the one with the cool one with like the wide like eyebrows and like it has like stag horns isn't actually in the event pass. It's presumably going to turn up in the store when it returns, which is, I mean, I guess it's more shady than like, because it's like it is technically part of the event. Like,
yeah, they didn't outright say this is in the track, So I guess they didn't technically lie to us. It's just a bit.
And I think
sneaky,
again, this is the sort of thing. Is that I think people who are mostly outraged by this are people who are not used to like this free to play. Like this happens in events. They come in events, they'll give you some free shit, and then there's like an event store where you limited time stuff that you can buy if you want to. That's kind of how it works. Yeah. Again, if you have.
I mean, it happens all the time.
Exactly.
In Apex. Remember when they released like the Pathfinder event and they showed off that really cool skin and everyone was like, "Oh, we're going to get that in the event tracker." And it's like, no, you got the event tracker and that skin was a separate £15 purchase, right? But they advertised the shit out of it, So it's just.
It's very
we're used to it, I guess. That's why it wasn't
exactly.
so much of a shock for
Again,
us.
that's not us defending it. It's just us saying this is kind of industry standard stuff with free to play. It's not great. Like I said, if you really want to levy this towards someone, do it towards shareholders. But yeah, so in terms of the event, so what we've got here then is what we've got to summarize is a week-long event where you get 7 challenges that are just kind of bundled into your weekly challenges. I don't think it's additive. I think the ones you have, maybe it was additive. Yeah, I think it is. So you have more challenges like on top of your normal amount. I don't know how many you actually have on a weekly basis. I feel like it's like between 10 and 15 maybe. So you have more challenges, and they all give like decent XP. And along with it came the limited time mode, which is Fiesta, which a lot of people have got pissy about as well because they've said, why can't I just have Fiesta as a permanent mode? Anyway, coming on to that. It stays for a week. Every time you complete one of these challenges, it gives you a level on the event. Those challenges also give you separate XP, which contribute to your battle pass. So overall, these events help speed up your battle pass because you have more challenges, and quite frankly, they're quite easy challenges. They were like,
and do you think they just shoehorned that in last minute, that XP thing, because people were really do you think that's something they did? I bet you it was. I bet you it was just going to be challenge. It's a level on the event. And then they were like, everyone's only level 6. They were like, everyone's level 6 on the battle pass. They're like, let's just give them XP. I bet you that was actually shoehorned.
I think it was. I think it was baked into because it was like. Otherwise, I think it would have been part of a different like tab or whatever. The fact that it was in the challenges tab makes me think that was kind of always going to be the case. But maybe. Yes. So what is actually a bit stinky about this is that. So these events, when they spoke about the events, they had this whole like no player left behind philosophy, with the battle pass, they don't expire, last a long time. Fantastic, great, no problem. And the events, they said the events return so that you can afford to miss a few days or you can afford to miss a week, which is great because quite frankly, it always stresses me out when events came out in Apex and I had to get in trouble with my family because like I had to play to a certain level or whatever, or I missed it and I got a severe FOMO.
Yeah.
So that's great. However, what they've done is they've kind of time-gated it a bit, so you're only limited to 7, as per the challenges, 7 levels on the event pass, and there's 30 levels. So we maxed out in like the first day or 2 days or whatever, and so we're done now until the event rolls around next, which is in January. And it will return, they've confirmed it's going to return 6 times over the next, I don't know, I guess if it's 2 months, we could be talking over the next year. It just comes back every 2 months for a week. So that means you could, if you were fully committed, if you could manage to do it every week, it would still take you 4 maths help. Yeah, no, just over 4 times.
Well, if you could do 7, a piece, and it's a 30 challenge, you could do it in. Well, it would technically be 5 returns, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to finish it.
You could do it in 4 weeks, and then like 1 or 2 challenges from another. So you could afford to miss like a week and a half of the 6 weeks in, which is it's just quite cheeky because I mean it is better, but to a degree it's like, well, actually now you have to have your attention sustained for a long period of time. Like, you can afford to not, like, rather than missing 1 day of a week, it's now you can miss 1 week of a 6-week period, and it's like, I think overall it is better. It's nice that these things return. I'm okay with that. But I'm not a huge fan of the fact that it's time gated so heavily. I don't know why 7 levels. I like put it up to 10. Like, give me more challenges so that I can complete it in 3 weeks because it.
But then that itself comes with issues because if you do complete it in 3 weeks and this shit's returning for 6 weeks to compensate players that don't have as much time as you or whatever, then if you complete it in 3 weeks and this event keeps returning, you're going to be like, after 3 weeks, you're going to just be like, right, I've got nothing, right? There's nothing happening. This event's
because they still give you XP.
I've completed it.
They still give you XP.
Boring.
And I don't know if it's going to be Fiesta every time. Like, I mean, as of right now, that seems to be the case, but we don't know that. And also, the store's going to rotate. So, like, if you're really looking for something new, like, there's going to be something different in the store. Like, oh, sweet, there's that one that was in the trailer. You can drop a 10 or a 5 or whatever to get something nice. If you really want to. I see what you're saying, but... Yeah, I feel like only 7 levels per event is a bit limiting.
Yes.
But, we'll see how it pans out. It just...
not to mention it's just really it's really slow. Like, I don't know if that event pass is interesting enough to consistently keep me hooked for 6 weeks. You have to make it very interesting, the rewards in there, if you want to keep the retention and drip feed people so slowly. And I think it can be a bit spicier. You know, there's some stuff in there, but it's not. It didn't blow my mind, and I'm like, man, I'm going to look forward to this returning for the next 6 weeks. No, not 6 weeks. I mean, longer than that. It would just be 6 random weeks over the course of the entire season. It could literally take the entire season before I fucking get that final samurai set.
I think it says the dates when you go on the event. Like, it wouldn't surprise if it's returning 6 times every 2 months. 6 times 2 is 12. It wouldn't surprise me if it's 2 months, 1 week every 2 months for a year. That would make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Again, maybe they could spice it up a little bit if they're planning on drip feeding people. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. There's some cool stuff in there. It's a lot to ask to get me excited for that long a period.
I think that there has been some criticism about, which I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I guess I am easy to please. I've said this before on the podcast, but some people have said, like, there's a lot of filler in some of these. You know, where like 15 of the items are like XP grants and double XPs or challenge swaps. I don't know, man. Like, I don't have so much of a problem with that. I don't feel like it's ridiculous. I feel like there probably could be a limit where I'd be like, all right, there's like 3 things in here, the rest is filler. But I don't mind having XP grants, double XP boosts, and challenge swaps. It's part of the system, right? You know, whatever.
No, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's not the most exciting thing, but you'll be glad you have them when you get a bullshit challenge like snipe someone out of a moving world. And you're like, thank God I have.
I know this is like a create a problem and sell the solution sort of thing, but you know, again, like, this is free to play. Like, I'm okay. Like, they're not, because sometimes I get the impression that sometimes people just want like 15 challenges that is like, you know, get 10 kills, and it's like, but then people get pissy about like some of the challenges that come out, and they're like, oh well, none of these require skill, you know, like whether it's. And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Whether it's, you know, it's like return a flag, or it's like, I don't know. Well, skill is expressed in many ways. Like, skill isn't just mechanically clicking on heads. Like, you know, it can be expressed through the use of different weapons. You know, like playing objective, playing around teammates, and that's not me defending. I've already said that some of the challenges have pissed me off, and bad challenge systems do drive me up the wall. I think it's bad. I don't think it's terrible. I think this week was better than the first week. So, you know. But yeah, I'm not bothered by that, and I think the event pass is kind of cool. I think we actually, there's been some data miners have like showed some of the cosmetics in some of the future events, and some of that, you know, like it was called Cold Ops or something. What was it called? And there's, you know, like a visor, like a mohawk, like kind of like holographic mohawk. So like maybe that stuff will do more for you. But from what I've seen, those are only 10 levels, so I don't really know how they're going to manage all of this, but. To me, it sounds like they plan on having an event very frequently, like every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, a lot of this stuff, it's just too early to tell, right? There's no need to get your panties in a twist and get so ragey and start fucking throwing death threats at them or whatever. Like, just see how the ecosystem sells, right? See what they have planned. They might, like you said, they might do events every 2 weeks, and you know, they're learning from all this stuff as well. Like, they're going to adapt and they're going to change a lot of stuff if it suits them and their pricing model. They need to make money and sort of help it just help improve their stand in the community with this sort of stuff, within reason, of course, because at the end of the day, it's a free-to-play model, and they have to make money. They've made a really great game for us, and they can't just fucking give it away for free. So
shut up. I like, because this is the thing that's like kind of been stressing me out a bit. Is like, there is Why is it the? I mean, maybe it's not. I mean, I know negativity sells, and I know negativity gets clicks, and it spreads faster, and it's contagious. Did you know we have I say this in my therapy sessions, but did you know we have a 5-to-1 negativity bias, properly wired into us, probably an evolutionary mechanic, so you know that when we detect something is bad, we stick onto it, and it keeps us alive longer. But we do. So you know, this stuff like. It spreads like wildfire, and I just think it's irritating that we're still in the beta phase. Like, okay, yes, I'm very loosely using the term beta because we're being sold microtransactions and battle passes and whatever, but nonetheless, the label is there because they're aware there are things they have a bit of leeway before launch. And it just stresses me out that there's so many people are like putting up articles and videos like Halo Infinite is dying because of its progression system, or like Halo Infinite is so disappointing. It's like, oh my god, shut up! Like, it's not, is it though? It's like, cause I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff going around on the internet. I'm sure it will continue to do so over the next week or so. But like, there's one guy. Do you know who the Ackman is? Yeah, he's a YouTuber. Anyway, he does a lot of Halo stuff. He's pretty popular. Generally, his videos are really, really good. He uses some clickbaity titles. He's playing the YouTube game. Can't judge that. That's no problem. But he's done like a 1 of 2 part. He's put a video up the other day, and the title is "Halo Infinite is underwhelming and disappointing." And he's been like following Halo Infinite for launch, and he's been very up and down on it, and he's been like really positive about the game and like the general experience. But he made this video, and they just spoke about like the progression that he doesn't like, the lack of modes. Apparently, custom modes is a bit buggy, and this is fine. These are genuine problems, I think, but it's. And then he was like, in the next video, I'm just going to be really positive and like talk about what I think is great about this game. And it's like, it's just like, it's the thing right now. Do you know what I mean? It's the thing. It's like, everybody, let's get it out of our systems and just talk about how shit like the game is. I just think, man, imagine being a 343 dev, working on Halo Infinite for the last decade of your life, probably. The ups and downs, the lack of faith from anyone in the community, death threats, like, you know... You get to 2020, you show off your campaign, everyone's like, wow, what a load of shit. 343, so incompetent. The flighting comes out. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is great. Everyone's desperate to play it. We see campaign footage. Holy shit, this looks great. The previews come in. Wow, this looks amazing. We have an Xbox anniversary event. Joe Staten, Tom French stand at the front of the studio and say, boys and girls, thank you for your faith. It's out today. They stand there. Everyone's happy. Holy shit, incredible. Within 2 weeks, everyone's like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to humanity. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I can't believe it. Like, come on. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I understand like the feedback around some of this stuff, but I'm finding it to be a bit of a it's a bit loud.
it's just blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Let's be real. It's just, I don't know. There's so much more right with the game than wrong with the game. So just enjoy it, right? Like, and the things that are wrong with the game in terms of slow progression, they can literally just be fixed. If core gameplay was shit, that's way more of an issue. If you're not having fun in your matches, then that's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
But you are, and they can fucking fix this other stuff quite easily. They could fucking, I mean, God, within like a week or less, they like doubled the XP boosters because like 30 minutes because queue times were quite long and they increased it to an hour. Literally took them days, you know, like to make these small fixes that help a lot. So just,
and there's been a couple of like big personalities on like Twitter who have said, starting to think maybe the whole Halo progression thing was blown out of proportion, and like it's like, yeah, but like, because a lot of like, there are a lot of people, I'm like level 30, I'm over level 30 in the battle pass now. The game's been out for 2 weeks. It lasts 6 months and it never expires. So what the fuck am I? Like, I can understand, but there's a difference between like a slow battle pass and an unrewarding one. You know, I think that makes sense. I think we can probably both agree that the battle pass is like reasonably unrewarding because of the challenge system and the frustrations with like trying to get into the right mode and things like that. You know, I like the content of the battle pass, but it's just how we're getting it, which can sometimes be a bit frustrating. But it's not slow, really, isn't it? Like after the event, which picks up the XP, I don't think it's that slow. I'm level 30 in 2 weeks. Okay, yes, I've played it a lot, but
no. Yeah, you just got to be smart about it. The tools are there for you to use with double XP and stuff like that. And then a lot of it is luck. I popped a double XP and got hardly anything from it once because I got Slayer 6 times in a row instead of Oddball. But, you know, like those are some issues. Those are some pretty obvious issues with it. But generally speaking, yeah, I'm like level 30 as well. The battle pass is 100 levels. It lasts for a long time. You know, it's going... There's going to get to a point where I finished the battle pass very early, but luckily that's not going to be an issue because right now I don't even notice my battle pass that much. I'm just enjoying playing the game, going in and out of every single game. So it's not really an issue whether you finish it too quickly or you do it too slowly right now, because they've nailed so many other aspects of the game.
Totally agree.
So. The battle pass isn't the be all end all. For whatever reason, a lot of people look at the battle pass and they think that's the main content of the game. It's just like, it's not. It's actually an addition. It's just like a, hey, have a cool fucking visor for playing our game. It's not the game. It's not Halo Infinite Battle Pass, edition. It's an additional thing that goes on top of the game that you're enjoying and playing. Like, it's like so many people weirdly see like the battle pass as like the campaign, like a quest or something like that. It's not. It's just like, I don't know. It's just something that you do along the side. Like, I don't know. If a battle pass is done right, you shouldn't even really notice it. You should just be going in and out of games. You're not even noticing you're leveling it up, and then suddenly it's like, oh, boom, we've got a cool new helmet. You shouldn't even really notice it's there. And it just rewards you.
It's just loud. And like, I will just say for the record, if you happen to listen to this tiny podcast, Actman, love your content, bro. You're very thorough. You're very articulate. You just happen.
Nah. You've already.
No, I'm not blaming. It's just part of like kind of the media cycle, and I think it's to a degree like we speak about this stuff as well, so I guess we're part of the problem, but here we are nonetheless. Yeah, and if you like listening to us complaining about other people complaining, boy, like it gets better. So like, I don't know if I think I've spoken about this before, like the Halo subreddit. Have I spoken to you about that subreddit before? It's the most toxic place I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Like, I can't understand these people. Like last week, and it's like personal. Like I've messaged the mods on a couple of times and been like, "Do you want to like do something about this?" Because like some of this is like unreasonably aggressive. Like these people need help.
Dude, they've given up those mods. They're just shaking in their corner, just like drinking a bottle of whiskey or something.
Okay, for example, because there's like daily, like I would say like 5, 6, 7 threads that go up daily with like thousands of upvotes, which is like a lot of, usually like that's quite a lot of attention to be getting on all of these threads on a single subreddit. And they're all about the same shit. And they're all like, so I've just like plucked one out of the end. They all have like loads of like rows and rows of awards, I've never seen a more pathetic way to kill your game than the way 343 is with the current playlist system. It's absolutely insane. You've developed this for 7 years, pushed the multiplayer out the door at the perfect time, yet you single-handedly ruin your game by not allowing people to play the other modes they want. It's like, yeah, they've said, like, they've literally said, publicly said on Twitter, like, yeah, we hear your feedback, we're going to do something about that. Last week, there was a similar post to this saying, 343 are doing this intentionally. They're never going to change the playlist system because they want us to struggle with challenges and buy challenge rerolls. And it's like, we're getting into conspiracy territory. Like, this is like 9/11 stuff. It's just relentless, man. Because I was subbed to I had to unsub.
If you want to get into the conspiracy and think why they're doing that, they're probably just stress testing their servers by lumping all the players into one playlist, right? Because if they were to segment it into Capture the Flag, Oddball, Slayer, then the player counts in each of those are going to be way lower. Whereas if it's just one playlist, it's just going to get fucking rammed, and it's going to stress test their server, and then
well done, you have a brain.
Launch, right? If you're going to go into conspiracy theories, at least be logical.
Me no think. Me just shout.
They're not all...
Me angry. Mr. Chief angry. Yeah, man, it's absolutely relentless,
Yeah.
and I guess maybe I just need to stay out of. Maybe I'm just in the wrong gaming spheres, but yeah, shit like that, and that's that's reasonable because that whole thing with the playlist being condensed into one, again, it accentuates the difficulty with these challenges. I would say half my problems with the challenges would actually disappear if once those playlists are split up. Like once I can just queue to a CTF and start playing around that would like get rid of half of the problem. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, this
100%.
is, do you know what? This is actually like another topic that we can move on to if you're okay for me to do that. But as part of like Halo is
Sure.
There's been this whole conversation around, oh, I wish Halo Infinite was just like a full price game. I guess we kind of like I guess we kind of talked around the periphery of it.
One of our friends actually said this to me. Like
he goes on r/Halo for sure.
Yeah. He actually said like, I'd rather just pay £60 and just have everything and just have like 200 customization.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't. Does it just appear out of nowhere? Does the customization just appear like because you start throwing money at the team? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't appear in Halo Reach when you paid full price for the game, did it? Like you still had to earn credits and buy it and stuff like that. It wasn't just there. You didn't just have 200 customization options to choose from.
Shit doesn't make sense.
They still time gated it. They just did it in a different way.
And I want to add, like, everybody thinks back like, Reach's customization was great, okay? I like the credit system. I love that shit. It was slow as fuck, so I don't want to hear about how Halo Reach was the perfect system, because it was so slow and it was so monotonous, so I don't want to hear about it. I had no agency, like, other than, like, performing well or trying to win, which, of course, is great, but I had, like, no agency other than that to, like, speed that up. So, like...
Yeah. I mean, it took me quite literally months to grind up enough credits to buy the heart armor effects, the broken heart armor effects on Halo Reach. It took me so long. But yeah, I mean, like you said, I do think the playlist being split up would solve so many of the issues. I think performance-based rewards, just literally just doing 2 of those things, and
most of the problems.
My God, like the improvement you'll see is just insane. And I'm sure they've got all that lined up already, right? Definitely the playlist split thing. I genuinely think they lumped it all into one playlist just for stress testing, and the fact that this is technically a beta. I think that's why they've done that. I think on launch it's going to be you can pick CTF, you can pick Oddball, you can pick Slayer. Like, I do think that's how they planned it. That's how they've always planned it. Performance-based rewards, maybe that was a bit of an oversight on their behalf, but I'm sure that's something they can shoehorn in and improve on that. And I definitely think that is something they'll do, because it's a huge part. Like, anyone that looks at Halo from a shooter perspective, they describe it as a team shooter. It's not like Call of Duty. It does revolve playing around the OBJ, going with your teammates, pushing together, that sort of thing, because it's not so much Call of Duty click on heads. So I do think performance-based rewards is something they'll definitely do, and definitely put in. And then, to be fair, they're probably quite upset at themselves for not thinking about it. So, they're probably just like, fuck, yeah, we actually totally forgot about that, So, like, I don't know, just chill out, stop throwing death threats at them. Like, they're probably a bit annoyed with themselves for missing out this stuff as well.
Oof, sorry about that. If we cut off mid-sentence, it's because we had our software just exploded, so sorry about that. And also, just to make it better, I've totally lost my train of thought and I can't remember what on earth I was talking about. So if I had something really good that I was about to say, we'll never find out. Who knows? It would have changed the course of Halo forever. But yeah, well.
343 are like, why?
Yeah, God,
we could have used that information.
The answers, he had the answers. Yeah, I know. We were talking about the full price versus full free to play comparison, and like you said, it just doesn't make sense, because you still have to grind it out, and I said this earlier with that kind of thing of the reason those games will manage to work as full price games is because they had a lot of unhealthy working conditions, and also other other full price games with this sort of model don't not have microtransactions either.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that became like a really big thing over the last few years when microtransactions started getting a lot of hate, you know, rightfully. That full price games would come out with more stuff in the store, like microtransactions and stuff. Like, so like, do you want that as well? Because they're not just going to charge you 60 quid like full price and then not charge anything like any overhead. So, you know, I don't think a lot of people think these things through. They just think back in day full price, which by the way, full price was less then, I will add. Full price means I get everything, and it's like you started to earn it though, didn't you? Like, so hey ho. My God. Okay. I mean, in terms of like the actual content of Halo, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Because we've got a few bits and bobs. There's another bit of Halo stuff to go over, but I just, you know, is there anything else you wanted to go over? That's all.
I don't think so. No, I think we've pretty much covered how we've been getting on with the game, what we've been enjoying, what we don't like. Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered it all from our own personal perspective. So
yeah, okay. I'm interested to see how it's all going to shape up in terms of reviews, because we've seen like IGN gave it the multiplayer a 9. You know, whether you feel they should be reviewing betas or not, you know, whether it's up to you. But GameSpot gave it an 8, and I'm just interested how this is all going to settle out. I think we've always said that we think it's going to settle out mid to high 80s. I personally would give Halo Infinite a 9 at the moment. I don't think the issues I have with it are enough to drag the experience down more than a point. I recognize they're there, and I recognize they cause some friction here and there, but like it's got such little weight on the overall enjoyment of the game, even with the maps and modes, which we said, you know, we think there's a good amount, not a great amount, but you know, as the foundation, I think I would give it a 9 as of right now. What do you think? Would you give it lower than that or about the same?
no, I think I'd probably agree with you. I'd say 9 is a very fair score. Yeah, there's just so much to enjoy. There's quite a lot of content there without actually there being an exceptional amount of content, which is weird. Like it just feels it's very replayable and it's very enjoyable. And it has its issues, and I think even without adding stuff, I think them just like buffing like weapons in the sandbox, there's so many that do need a buff, that itself is going to, you know, refresh the game as well, and the content's already there. So yeah, and I agree. Yeah, obviously we both know there are issues, but yeah, it doesn't hurt the overall experience that much. I'm still dying to get on it at 5:01 and on my lunch breaks. So yeah, it's probably
so fucking fun, man. It's so fun to play. I just like every day I just can't believe that they managed to pull off what they have done. Because we don't need to go back into it, but yeah, I'm sure we'll go. We're literally gonna have an hour section every week for like the next 2 months about this. But it's just exciting, man. And you know, I think this actually kind of does lead me into my next session. While we're talking about ratings, is actually was rating the first year of the Xbox, the new gen. You know, given that we had the anniversary last year, we did last week or 2 weeks ago, but we didn't really have time. Because we were catching up with 2 weeks of news, and we had so much we wanted to speak about with Halo. We didn't really have time, but I wanted to sort of get your thoughts on your thoughts on Xbox Series X and S 1 year later. You know, what do you think? What would you score it? What are your main points? What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we could both agree that the release and the first year of this console was underwhelming, to say the least. I don't think it was the best. In terms of the actual product, the hardware that's sitting behind me, you know, we both know it's fantastic and what it's capable of. You know, I rate the console. But yeah, it's only in the recent 4 months maybe, and definitely around now that it really has picked up for me. Apart from that, I've kind of just been playing games I already had at higher frame rates and stuff like that, and you know, we played a lot of Apex and everything like that, so it having the new console didn't really affect us too much in that regard for the type of titles that we played. But yeah, I mean, if I were to give it a score, like factoring in what we got right now with Forza and Halo and what's coming out towards the end of the year as well, because I'm quite interested to try the Gunk as well. That game actually looks fairly interesting.
Yeah.
So that'll be quite
Full
spicy.
exclusive now as well.
Yeah, so that'll be coming out of Games Pass, like, won't it? Straight up. So
yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah, I might have to fact check that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, if I were to give it a score right now, I'd probably say an 8.
The whole year, the first year. Yeah.
I'd say an 8. I'd say pre Halo and how much fun I'm having with it now, I probably would have given it like a 7. But it's the recent month or two's brought it up to probably about an 8 for the year for me overall.
Okay, that's interesting. So, because I think so, like I got some notes here that I made a while back, sort of thinking about this. But this was before the anniversary show. So, okay, because I think that's I'm loving what you're stepping in. I think there's a couple of things that like we could go over that maybe would make you think about that score a bit more, for better or worse, right? So, what some of the notes here I've put were weak launch window. No way getting around it. Was a weak launch window. But I said, even if there were some games in there which resonated with me, like Gears Tactics, I loved Gears Tactics. Really good. It was like 8.5 for me. I thought it was actually pretty fantastic, and it went to controller really, really well. Introduction of some stellar features like quick resume and FPS boost. Some of those features have been spotty. Generally, quick resume is really good, but there is a bit of inconsistency here and there. Like the example I always use is Mass Effect Trilogy. Never worked with that game. Supposedly because it's it's like a collection game with a front-facing like UI, and then you pick your game from there. So like for some reason the game doesn't function. The quick resume doesn't function. FPS boost continues to be underutilized. Right, we did just get a drop, obviously, at the anniversary event, so that's not with that in mind. But I was still kind of hoping it would be something we'd see across the board rather than something that would have to be like individually done. Maybe that was just too high expectations. There was that weird thing that Xbox did where they were like, we're going to double gold, Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah,
like
that was
for no
weird.
reason. And then they were like, oh, yeah, soz, oops, oopsie doops. Oh, my bad, guys.
Yeah, that was kind of sus. Yeah.
That was so sus. There were... console shortages continue to be a thing. Obviously, I'm not going to mark them down for this because thankfully it's not something we've had to experience. It's not really Xbox's fault, although the Xbox Series S is making waves because of its availability. That's another conversation. Game Pass offerings have continued to ramp up. We had Outriders day one. That saved me money because I would have bought it. Back for Blood, that would have saved me money because I would have bought it. I had a great time with these games, but I would have probably kicked myself a bit if I had bought them at full price.
Yeah.
And then there's other indie games which I've had a great time with this year. Artful Escape, I haven't finished yet, but it was really good. The Ascent, we played around with. We didn't love it, but we liked what was there. Hades was obviously there as well. 12 minutes, huge wins. In terms of them being day one on Games Pass. Some really good indie titles, including some of the ones I just said, but also Death's Door, which was... I'm quite surprised it didn't get a Game of the Year nomination. I think we said this last week, but I think it got a nomination for Best Indie Game of the Year, but you know what I'm saying. Amazing game.
Yeah.
Halo, and then we sort of get towards the back half of the year. Halo multiplayer flightings have kind of were a massive critical success. It's been talk of the town for a few months now. The Series X has turned a corner in terms of being the most powerful console. It often edges out the PS5 in terms of performance, but there's not much in it, and sometimes the PS5 does beat the Series X in terms of performance. But we're pixel counting and stuff like that, so ultimately there isn't much between the two. Even though the Series X does tend to edge out if you're really into that, like I am. We got a new campaign reveal from Halo, which generated a lot of good news. A really good bit of marketing from the team, I thought. There has been a few disappointing shows. Gamescom, we obviously both watched Tokyo Game Show. Nothing really happened with them, as per expected. We never really expected that, but nonetheless, they were still shows, and they were like, whatever, Constant UI and dashboard updates. We've got dynamic backgrounds. Cloud console streaming has just released fully. 4K dashboards. There's been like night mode. There's been like a new thing which I told you about the other day, which is like TV mute automatically when you connect your headset. And I think there's something PlayStation's had for a long time. So this is actually a feature which I get a lot of use out of because I can never find my fucking remote. So that's all been great. There's continued to be a slightly bit of disappointing lag between Xbox Game Studios PC launches and console launches. I've bitched about Flight Sim and Age of Empires and Gears Tactics for a while. I think they need parity with that if they really want to cement that kind of branding across both. Also the lack of aggression for some of the PlayStation exclusives like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, especially with Deathloop being a Game of the Year contender, is a bit annoying because it would have helped pad out the year if we had gotten an exclusive Deathloop whenever it came out, like August in the end, wasn't it? We would have had... I mean, because Xbox had closed out the year really well, but if you then throw Deathloop in there, like, holy shit, actually, this starts to become one of the best launch years in a long time.
Yeah, we would have really enjoyed Deathloop.
Exactly. So I'm still really looking forward to that. And with the year being closed up really well, obviously Forza Horizon, critical success, highest rated game of the year. Still didn't get nominated at the Game Awards. Halo. And so, like I said, these notes were before the anniversary event. Anniversary event was really well done. They downplayed it, expectations low, under-promised, over-delivered. And then they released Halo as a shadow drop along with back and pack games, FPS boost. What a wicked event. So all of that, I had originally scored it. Sorry, go on.
Weirdly, you didn't name drop Psychonauts too in here.
You are right, but I guess
You're not a fan of that?
I guess it's it's my game of the year. It's my pick of the year for game of the year. From what I've played, obviously I haven't played Deathloop, and obviously Forza didn't get Forza or Halo won't be in that category. So Halo will have to wait till next year. I guess because it's multiplayer, it makes it hard for me to think of it as something the Series X and S have done themselves. But
okay, I guess sure.
But I mean, you are right. Yeah,
it's made by an Xbox studio, but
yeah, no, you are right. Yeah, you are right. But so nonetheless, with all of that in mind, before the anniversary event, I had a 7 out of 10 level. I think it was pretty decent. End of the year closed out with a bit of a banger. With the anniversary event, I'd probably bump up to like a 7.5, but just because it was a lot of fun and the shadow drop of Halo has been really fun. And it's been, let's face it, a fucking flawless launch.
Yeah.
No bugs, no server issues. We've had there's the very occasional bit of hang time here and there, but it's been pretty flawless. I can't think of a launch which has been as good as this for a multiplayer game since ever.
It's been very good. Yeah, very, very good.
So with all of that in mind, all the shows, all the console, the UI stuff and all of those features and stuff, I would probably summarize it at 7.5. So with that in mind, would you probably stick with your 8 or would you...
I mean, I think, the way we have outlooked the year and scored it, we're quite similar anyway.
I was just curious to see if that's affected your score.
Yeah, I don't know. It's quite tough. Yeah, I mean, like I said it was probably a 7, and in the recent, quite literally week/month, I could have bumped up to an 8. So sure, I'll be a nice guy and stick with my 8.
Wicked.
Just a nice guy.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, so overall, pretty happy with the way they've closed out the end of the year. And it'll be interesting to see how we kind of view this in retrospect. Like next year. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I just thought that would be a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. I should have brought this up earlier, but Halo has been number 1 in the Xbox store. We don't have to stay on this for long, but I just wanted to... We don't have firm numbers yet. I'm sure there's going to be a big... It might even be tomorrow, like Monday. Like Xbox like to do big marketing pushes or blogs on Monday. But Halo Infinite, judging by the store, has been the most played Xbox game in the US last week. And obviously it broke records in terms of being the most played Steam Xbox Game Studio game, which probably shouldn't be too surprising. But nonetheless, it's a big success when you think about the amount of shit that Halo has taken over the last few years to now be... Like, it must be doing numbers. Like, that means it's on Xbox currently, it's outdoing Warzone, Fortnite, COD, like, do you know what I mean? These are titans. Like, I can't think of the last time. I don't know if Forza overtook Fortnite. I don't think it did in terms of concurrent players. Obviously, it had huge player counts, but
it's a big deal.
I'll be really interested to see the sort of numbers it's hitting, because I kind of, I hope it's kind of breaking records, because it just gives me that thing to throw back in people's faces of like, look, I know you're upset with the battle pass, but it's clearly not bothering most people. So let's just take a breath, shall we, and then revisit this next month.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, obviously we said this before, but yeah, hats off to the 343 team. Obviously they've done such a good job. Minus the small blunders they've had. So, like you said, it'd be interesting to see their figures, and whatever they are, I do hope they're record breaking, because they deserve it. I think they've done a very good job. I think this is probably the hardest video game title ever to develop and get right. So, congrats.
Yeah, hard agree. I can't remember if I spoke about it, because like, when we had the disruption with the recording, it really threw. Did we mention the review scores from IGN and GameSpot already?
You did say that IGN gave it a 9 and GameSpot gave it an 8, and then you said,
then we gave our scores, didn't we?
Reviewing betas and stuff like that. So we have touched on that. Yeah,
no problem. Okay, then. Well, as we move sort of away from Halo and into sort of the wider sort of Xbox news, I wanted to. So Kamiya, so they're the head of Platinum Games, have recently had an interview about Scalebound. From that little game.
I do. I was excited for that game.
Yeah, I think everyone was excited, even if it did look a bit choppy here and there. And if you remember, back in day when it was cancelled, Xbox took a lot of shit, because it came at a bad time. Lionhead just got closed. Fable Legends cancelled. Scalebound cancelled. Like, oh shit! It was just a whirlwind of negativity. And Kamiya has basically took the blame here. He apologised around his mismanagement of the project, and allegedly there was money. The money that was given to that project was being diverted towards other stuff. It's I just think it's one of those things that's interesting to view in retrospect. I wonder if we'll ever see the IP again. I think probably not, but it's interesting to think back to then.
I think it was a really interesting concept on a game to be like soul bonded with like a dragon and you fight with, and like super like anime vibes and stuff like that. And huge like DMC vibes too. I think it's a really solid concept. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see it maybe come out of the woodworks at some point, when the project might be able to get managed better and there's money. I mean, Philly's pumping money into everything. Who knows? He might pump money back in Scalebound.
What cool
the
name
concept's
as well.
there. Yeah,
Scalebound.
It's a cool name.
That is such a cool name.
I actually think it's pretty solid, and there's actually a pretty cool game foundation there. I'd like to see it be revitalized.
Do you remember when they like showed like that there was going to be multiplayer in it? That was weird.
I think I did. Yeah, I think I do remember that.
Like different versions of him just like phased in. They're like, "Yeah, let's go," and it was like, "Why is there more than one of you?"
Yeah, I can only take one of you. There's too much anime now.
Yeah,
too much.
Well, I mean, allegedly, Xbox really wanted them to like essentially shoe in like co-op or multiplayer, and the team didn't have much expertise on that, so that made that it like compounded the difficulties that the team were having with the project anyway. So that I think that's some blame there on Xbox meddling with the like being too hands-on, and obviously Phil has this whole philosophy that he's on record multiple times saying like this hands-off approach, and Matt Booty as well, like hands-off, let them do the creating sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I will if there was ever a chance for Xbox to work with Platinum again, I don't know. I kind of think the window's gone. I don't think they would. Like, I think they fucked up, and I don't think that opportunity is going to come again. I don't know why. Given that there's so many studios out there, I don't know why they would pick a studio who they have like a proven bad track history with. Not because of bad blood, but just because of like we worked with them before and they mismanaged the project and we had to cancel it, and we took years of bad PR for that. Like,
yeah,
absolutely
exactly.
not. I'm not going near this again.
Yeah. But then you could also look at it from a perspective that Xbox have really changed their ways and the way they do things, and how they approach and manage their game studios now. And with the whole introduction of like Games Pass and all that sort of stuff, it coming out on that, you know, and obviously as a result of that, hitting some pretty saucy numbers right off the bat if they make it as like a Games Pass exclusive. You know, like Xbox has changed a lot since back when this happened, so they might just bury the hatchet, you know, and maybe give it another go. But yeah, it's there's just bad blood there, right? Yeah, so probably not. I would agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not going to pretend that that's not a shame, because Platinum Games, they do make good games. I mean, Nier Automata is one of my favorite games of all time. Even if like a lot of their games don't do that much for me, but Nier Automata was kind of something special. So you know, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they can get a Games Pass, like you said. You know, maybe at some point we'll see them team up in a Games Pass capacity. But I can't see them working together in sort of a third party or second party, whatever that means. To make exclusive games together is what I mean. Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the Xbox Series S, the little console that could. Man, how are you feeling about the Xbox Series S nowadays? Do you think this is kind of was it a waste of resources in the end? Do you think it's still looking good, or somewhere in the middle? What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's clearly not a waste of resources. It's doing great in terms of how it's selling. When it first came out and was introduced, I definitely did see it as just kind of the inferior console in my eyes. I saw it as the little child console to the Xbox Series X. And I had no intention of buying it. You know, I was just like, I want the bigger, the thick boy. You know, that's what I want.
Exactly, the Tower of Power.
Exactly. But yeah, so I mean, that still is. I have a lot more respect for it than I did. Like, sure, you know, I now know that the hardware in it is fucking great. You know, it's a really nice console. And with all the chip shortages and the availability of all the other consoles, it's doing fantastic. You know, I think it definitely has a space in the marketplace. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the story here is that the Xbox Series S has been allegedly the most popular or rather there's the console that sold the most this Black Friday. So beating out the Xbox Series X and both versions of the PS5 and the Switch, which are obviously they're all selling really really well at the moment. So it's quite surprising that the little budget Series S is selling this much. And I don't know if that's because of like inherent demand for that console, or if it's because people have just gone, fuck it, I'm not getting one of these other consoles. I want to play Halo. Like I can play it for free. I can buy this for 200 quid, plug it in, and I can play Halo. Like, that's rad. Like,
I think it is that. I mean, I think a large part of it is that. I don't think all of it is that, because the console is great in itself anyway. But I do think a large part of why we're seeing such high numbers is just because of the general unavailability. Is that a word? Unavailability of the Series X and PS5. I think if those were both in stock and someone went into the store and had the choice between an in-stock Series X and an in-stock Series X, they would they'd probably buy the X. So I do think a large part of the increased sales numbers is just due to the fact that nothing else is available. But it's still great. It's still a great console.
Yeah, and it's dead cheap as well. You know, I think it's important to remember that, because I think for a while, in like the first 6 months of the sales, it was there was some concern that the Series S wasn't selling well, and I think that Xbox and Microsoft, I'm sure, expected that, because we're in the like the enthusiast period, the early adopter. Like, well, yeah, of course, people are going to go for the more expensive one, and it's the Series S is going to start to see more leverage as all of the people like us who console game as a regular hobby have their shit. And then once prices have reduced in the back half of the life cycle, people are going to see these on the shelves and be like, what's this? 150 quid, 200 quid for this? Are you joking? Like, yeah, all right. I can get this for the kids or for a Christmas present. And, what's that? Well, 6 months of Games Pass. Yeah, let's go. So I think, actually, it kind of makes me think that this was maybe an intentional thing to like get footing in the US for Halo to be released early. to like get a lot of chatter. Black Friday rolls around. Oh, there's Series S on the shelves. This thing's gonna fly off the shelves because people can just buy this, plug in, and play Halo, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, the only downside that I have cottoned on to around the Series S is that the way it works in terms of specs is that if the devs don't tinker with it or optimize with it, it defaults to copying the 1S settings. So that it would be like 1080 60 frames or 1080 30 depending on what the 1S did, whereas the Series X is following the 1X, which is obviously boost, so it would be like 60 frames 4K sort of thing. And so there are some cases where devs aren't paying too much, either aren't paying too much attention to the Series S, or it's smaller devs that generally don't have the time or resources to do that, and as a result, the Series S gets a bit shafted. But from what I can tell, it's quite few and far between. But I've actually been thinking about getting one myself, just because I think it'd be quite cool because I've got my work from home office space here, and I just think it'd be quite nice to if people come over, I don't have to worry about moving my obviously I'm spending time with people. Don't make fun of me, but I just mean it'd be nice to have something in here for an evening, or if I wanted to free the lounge up for other people to use, I could just pop it into my 1080p monitor here, and it would be sorted.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not a huge hit in your bank account either. It's a very affordable console.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, shit. It's like how much is the Switch OLED?
That's a good question.
It's more. I'm pretty sure it's more. It's like $250, isn't it, or something? Switch OLED.
Yeah, I think so. It's I thought it was $270. Let me just quickly check. Switch OLED.
So,
I spelt it wrong.
While you fact check that,
Okay.
it does. When you consider the cost over something like that, I mean, you're getting way more bang for your buck in terms of hardware and performance over something like a Switch OLED, right? It's very affordable, and it's very, very powerful for the price point you pay for it. So
it keeps auto-correcting me to Switch old. Stop doing that!
Fuck's sake, man.
It's the Amazon. Hang on. Switch OLED model. Oh, it's not even giving me a price because it's out of stock, so I'm not going to be able to get an accurate. God damn it. Wait, neon red?
Give me a second.
I've just got second-hand prices, so I
Switch OLED. I've got 310 from Argos.
That's what I mean. That's a lot. That's not the RRP though, is it?
No, but I mean, Argos tends to be a relatively similar price to something like Amazon. They don't tend to get beat out. You're probably looking at your 280 to 300 range.
I thought it was in the between 275 and 300. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, yeah. Your point stands nonetheless. Yeah, that it's the Series S is in that range / cheaper, and the value proposition of the Series S, let's face it, is crazy. And I think it would be if I was to get a Series S, it would essentially be a Halo. Because I already game share with you, so I wouldn't be able to game share with my library. So it would just be like a Halo machine at this point because it's free to play.
Yeah.
And, I guess that's kind of where maybe what the thinking was around making it free to play rather than a first party title that they put on Games Pass that people can just pick this up without committing to. Halo is the door, to get you into Games Pass, gets you on the console, it gets you playing, and then you say, oh, I can get what's this Forza and Flight Sim and Psychonauts and yada 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 on Games Pass for only £1 for the first 3 months. Wow, what an amazing deal! Yeah, so I think that strategy is sort of starting to become a bit clearer. But yeah, very fun. I don't know if you've seen it in person. It is so cute. The Series S. It's adorable.
I haven't actually seen one.
So cute. It's tiny.
Is it?
It's I'm trying to give you an idea of
Well, I'm kind of looking at it now, and it's about half the console is literally the width of a controller.
The controller,
so
right? Yeah,
its length is 2 controllers.
Yeah,
yeah. So
it's tiny. Go on.
I have 2 controllers.
It's a controller for scale.
This one's a bit dusty, but yeah. So it's literally this big.
It's tiny. It's absolutely tiny, and I think it's the same depth as well.
Yeah. So it's literally like this. Yeah, that's crazy.
And have you seen?
It's very small.
People have been making. There's been there's a Kickstarter at the moment for an attachable screen to it. because it's so small. It's like smaller than a laptop, but you just plug it.
Oh, yeah, you plug it
like
in
a
the
power
back and it
source.
flips up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
works, and it's like fucking so sick. Like
That
I wish
is-
like that would be an officially supported thing because I'd be all over that.
I mean, these things, they can be, right? I mean, doesn't like Xbox kind of endorse to an extent the handheld things for like your phones?
Yeah, they've got
Like,
official
yeah.
licensed ones.
Like if the product's good enough, Xbox would just be like, you know, we're gonna buy this, you know,
Slap
make
your
this for us under our label. Yeah, so you know, these things do happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be really, really cool. Imagine taking
No,
that
no.
like on like a train or like a plane and just be like,
Yeah.
everyone's like, dude's played Halo Infinite.
Just gonna say some grunts, don't mind me. Yeah, it's like 4K. You're like, what the fuck?
4K, like amazing fucking. Oh my
It's
god,
just-
that'd be
it's
so
just
cool.
So cool. Yeah, and you can actually. It does remind me. You can actually play Halo on cloud at the moment. It's just I just find it funny that of all the things, like they made Halo Infinite available day one on like cloud. It's just like who's playing Halo on cloud? Yeah, as good as it is, like you're not clicking on heads in Halo. Halo's a hard game. Halo Infinite is quite challenging. It's part of its appeal because it feels so good when you get a kill and whatever. But you know, it's just man. Shit's
you
good.
have
I guess you can play against bots and stuff, and
Yeah, you do have to be quite crispy.
that reminds me. There was an article about like challenges, the whole challenge fucking thing in Halo. The tier 1 challenges, for those that don't know, there are different colours. You get tier 1s, they get replaced by tier 2s. I think it's like grey, light blue, dark blue, whatever. The tier 1s can be done against bots.
Yeah, I knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because one of our friends cheeses that. He just goes into bot lobbies and does it all, and then he starts playing matchmaking after that.
I guess it depends what they are. It could be helpful in some cases, but I mean, I guess
Yeah, you can also get achievements in bot lobbies as well.
Apparently,
yeah. So you can just like cheese the achievements in there on bots as well.
Yeah. I hope they keep updating the game with achievements. You know, I've really liked that about like Sea of Thieves, and a couple of like Gears did it as well. They just like kept adding achievements to it. I like that with multiplayer games. I like that the game can keep telling me I'm doing good with pinging noises and shiny things. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's no reason they can't just like add a new gun and then just, you know, have achievements for it. Like get a perfect with that gun that we just added.
Yeah, right.
Stuff like that. You know.
I just feel like it would be with the way that they're doing these long, elongated seasons now. I think it would be a good way to like breathe, you know, life into the game. Like here's 10 new achievements. You know, this sort of Smite did it as well, didn't it? Smite does it with all the new gods and stuff.
Yeah, they add tons of achievements for every god. Yeah, it's like fucking like 600 achievements in that game. It's insane.
Yeah, it is crazy. Okay, well, as we sort of come towards the end of the show, then everyone, the last thing I kind of wanted to go over was we did obviously speak about the snubbing, as I'll call it, of Forza Horizon 5 in the Game of the Year category. But I just wanted to quickly run through the rest of the nominations. We don't have to go through them, you know, exhaustively because there are things in there like best esports coach, and I'm like, I don't. You might as well ask me like, what is the best type of brick? Like, I don't know. So I just figured we'd go over some of the categories here until we get to some of maybe the more obscure ones, because I feel like it might be quite fun to just sort of see what we think is going to be going here. So yeah, we obviously we spoke about Game of the Year last week, didn't we? And we spoke about that. I mean, I said my vote was with Psychonauts 2. I mean, you played Village and you said that your vote probably wouldn't be with that, so I guess you don't really have much of a stake in this, do you?
No, Village was great. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's Game of the Year contender. Yeah, cool. I think it's as simple as that. Yeah,
fair enough. Okay then. Well, I mean, if I move to direction, did you play Returnal? I feel like did you play Returnal like your brother's console or something?
No. It was one of our friends played Returnal.
Yeah,
not me.
He really likes it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he did quite like it. Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, again, the only game I've played here, or the only two, is It Takes Two and Psychonauts. I think in terms of direction, It Takes Two actually does quite a good job. But I would still give it to Psychonauts 2 from what I've played. I think Deathloop looks fantastic. Ratchet & Clank looks really good, but it looks like a Ratchet & Clank game.
Yeah. I think Deathloop's very interesting in its design and what they went for. Again, I haven't played it. I can only go from what I've seen and how it's reviewed and stuff like that. it's definitely a very interesting game, right?
Definitely.
In
So
terms of
interesting.
direction.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to give it to that, but I can't because I haven't played it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that's fine. Yeah, I think because what I think, you know, just I guess just to expand on that a bit more, the reason why I think Psychonauts 2 is so good in its direction is that it doesn't like fucking explain. Skill Up did a video on Psychonauts 2 recently. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but he didn't do like a review because he said, you know, I'm late to the party, so I'm just going to speak for 20 minutes about what I think about the Psychonauts 2. And one of the things he said, which I totally agree with, was that the game doesn't like just tell you shit. It doesn't just say, "Oh no, gambling is bad." Like it does. It plays out this whole level where you connect thoughts between people, and you're trying to, you know, you end up in a hospital which has like gambling. Like it's the whole thing is that it's like a hospital becomes a casino sort of thing, because you connect the idea of risk and like and getting money together in someone's head, and that's the thing so what you know, I think it tells a lot of messages and a lot of stories in a way which is done so through gameplay, and you can interpret that how you do. You know, you can play the game normally, or you can go through it and be like, you know, it's kind of interesting that there's people over there rolling a wheel. They're like doing IVF and they're rolling a roulette ball, you know, and it's wrapped up in this comical kind of like wrapper.
Yeah.
But it tells you the experience through that, and that's what I find really fascinating, and that's why the game has got such high reviews, because the way its stories are told is through the gameplay, not through lines and lines and lines and lines of exhausted dialogue.
Yeah.
Game direction, best narrative. Here we are again with Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange, True Colors, Guardians of the Galaxy. I actually didn't know that got nominated there.
Yeah,
that's exciting. And Psychonauts 2 again. I think it's quite interesting that I heard a lot of good things about Life is Strange, you know.
Yeah. To be honest, I haven't really looked into the new release of it. True Colors. I don't really know much about it and how it impacted the scene.
It's not really a cup of tea, those sorts of games, are there?
No. But I mean, I still followed the others to an extent and kind of what they were about. But this one kind of just flew under the radar for me. I just don't really know much about it or how it did. But
I don't know how It Takes Two is there for the best narrative. I spoke about this last week, but like unless the game like in the final like few hours closes out with like a mega plot twist, it was all a psychedelic dream or something. Like I don't understand where that's coming from. So I've heard that some people like were not happy with the ending of Deathloop, and I don't know if that was a narrative thing or like a gameplay thing. But from what I understand, like the narrative ending was maybe a bit of a letdown. So I mean, unless Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe Life is Strange wins actually. Because if I was just thinking if Psychonauts 2 is going to win in other categories, maybe Life is Strange does win this one.
Yeah,
but yeah, okay. Are any of these in these other categories best art direction? Because you can actually kind of judge this based on what you've seen. Well, for both of us, really. Deathloop, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2 again. Ratchet and Clank or Artful Escape. Good for them, man. Fucking good for them.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
Do they do anything for you in terms of those nominations?
The
best art direction.
I always thought, is it Kenna or Kena? Kena,
yeah.
I always thought Kena Bridge of Spirits looked really, really interesting from an art direction standpoint, I guess. So, but yeah, again, I don't really have many experience in these games. But yeah, I mean, Artful Escape, it's just nice to see up there from a small indie studio. And that always looks really, really interesting in all of its trailers and gameplay. It did the art style in that game did look amazing. Yeah, I don't know. I quite like the idea of Kena winning that one, but
yeah, I hope Artful Escape win that. To be honest, but I haven't finished it, but I played it like maybe halfway through, and it's crazy, that game, man. It's crazy with how it looks and just what they do with the design, and awesome. I'm just going around to like sort of have a look at maybe categories that we actually like can maybe comment on, and the next one I can kind of see is best performance, and literally the only one here is Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village. The other nominations are in Life is Strange, Far Cry 6, and Deathloop twice.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I can comment from a Lady Dimitrescu standpoint. I thought it was really good. I thought the voice actor was brilliant. Something I did point out is I did have pointed out in Resident Evil Village is why they were all just like American. It was kind of weird. You're like in some fucking backwater, like remote village in fucking Romania or somewhere, and everyone is just American. Like even like the villagers and stuff like that. And once that was pointed out to me, I was like, this kind of like immersion breaking. Actually, that is kind of weird. Like, why is no one speaking with like an accent? Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, from a performance standpoint, yeah, she did do a really good job.
Cool.
I have to admit, her dialogue was pretty good, and it ranges from all the scenes she was in, from being fucking evil and cunning to angry and fucking there was quite a range in there, and she did do quite a good job. So
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's good to hear. I can't comment on this until Giancarlo Esposito as Anton Castillo in Far Cry 6. I've heard some of his lines. Apparently wasn't as used as much as maybe the marketing indicated he would, but I mean the guy is a really, really good actor. So I mean, I'm not surprised to see him there. And from what the dialogue I've heard in Deathloop is really, really, really good. From what I've heard, I'm so excited to play that game. It's just so annoying I have to wait so long. Yeah. Okay.
Best ongoing game. You know what's really interesting? It's ongoing, so I assume it does. These games weren't released in 2021. Obviously, Apex wasn't, Warzone wasn't, Final Fantasy's been out for ages. Why isn't Siege on there? I really think Siege should be on there. Personally,
competition, man. I mean, Sea of Thieves isn't there either.
I heard that Warzone is shit. Yeah, Sea of Thieves. I heard Warzone is shit with its updates. I heard they take ages to pump out updates and to get stuff out, new content. I don't know why it's on there. Is it just on there because it's a Call of Duty? I mean, I don't play it and I don't follow it, but from what I've heard from a looking in perspective, is they are very slow with getting stuff out. So I feel like that's just on there because it's a Call of Duty, right?
Well, it's just the numbers, right? Surely. I mean, the game gets the Warzone is more popular than like the main line entries of Call of Duty now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah. But yeah, Sea of Thieves should be up there, I think, and I think Siege should probably be up there as well. But I guess they just didn't make a big enough impact in the social scene to get the numbers to warrant it. Something exactly. Like Genshin Impact, it just fucking exploded, didn't it?
Why is that not on Xbox yet? It's crazy that game is just evading Xbox.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Is it on other platforms? Is it on like PlayStation and stuff?
On PlayStation, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if it was like an exclusivity deal or it was just one of those. Who was it? Was it? I mean, I think the publisher is Atlas. And Atlas, I might be wrong, but no, it's developed and published by MiHoYo, whoever that is. I don't know if it's just because it's one of those like Japanese developers that just dodges Xbox by default, or if it was some sort of exclusivity deal. But that game's big, man. They really need to work on getting cozy with them to get that over, because that's a big deal. I actually wanted to do want to touch on Sea of Thieves, because I think Sea of Thieves has been in this category for the last 2 years. It might even have won last year,
Maybe.
I think it did win this category last year, so maybe that's why. But they just recently, I teased this a few weeks back about, because I'm still an insider, and so I hop on it, or the pioneers, whatever they call it, just to like have a look at the patch notes and stuff, and obviously I can speak about it. But so they've announced the new season and like some of the stuff that's going to be in that, and they've like gone back to like the core like kind of sandbox element of Sea of Thieves. And one of the things, I can't remember all of them, but one of the things that they've put in the game is, which is now announced, so I can speak about it, but I don't know everything, is like burying treasure. How cool is that? You can like go chase and you can bury it and it stays there. It stays fixed in the server. So you could like run into other people's treasure, and you could also set up your own treasure maps. So you could like put stuff down and then sell them to the merchant for the equivalent of the chests, and then you can
Mm.
go to a merchant and be like, this is a player design map. So it's almost introducing, you know, this pet player generated content a little bit of like, you have to go from here to here to here and like find these cool player generated quests. Like it could take you into a skeleton cave or like into an underground tunnel, you know. So I just thought that was such a cool idea.
It's really, really interesting. Yeah, that
So
is really, really
interesting.
cool. And it's
Yeah.
it's just really it just helps with that immersion, doesn't it? And like role play aspect of the game. So you actually fucking feel like a pirate. You actually feel like
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that.
And I just think that this is like, because they made a big deal out of this on the forums, you know, they were saying like, you know, this is like going back to like the basics of what Sea of Thieves in, you know, really like sort of fixing on that sandbox. And I'm just like, thank God, because like I think even though they have done a good job with like updating it and everything, I think they've pissed around a lot with like making events and like limited time stuff, which is like, stop doing that and just get stuff in which is like tools and fun stuff that all like that's emergent. You know, it makes me think of Halo a little bit, like, because Halo is very much the same thing. You know, it makes me think of the Power Seed mode of like that game mode is perfect for like to layer on levels of creativity within the sandbox where you can do this sort of shit. And you know, I just feel like Sea of Thieves needs this sort of stuff to really make it shine. It's always been right on the cusp of like having some fun stuff to do and some stuff which is emergent and reacts, but like there could be so much more there. You know, there's so much potential.
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what else they sort of reveal because I don't know about all of it. But yeah, big up Sea of Thieves. It's a shame it's not in the category, but I guess as we are talking about the category, we can't not say that Apex deserves a big pat on the back here, continuing to do really good with their seasonal updates and their characters and their limited time modes. I have very little bad things to say about Apex.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they release great content, and it's frequent too, right? It's like 3 months. It's like every 3 months is like a fresh season, fresh battle pass. They normally add a character, new guns, all that sort of thing. You know, they do a good job of keeping that game fresh. There's a reason we put so many hours into it.
Agreed. Although I was thinking about this the other day, right? And I think this is not like an Apex versus Halo thing, really. But I think in the last few seasons, I don't think Apex has done a good job with their sandbox. And I mean, like it's never been a big thing of what Apex goes for. You know, it's more about like tight gunfights and, you know, coordinated stuff with your squad. But in terms of like having variety in it, like recently, like what was the name of the gun that they just added? The car. I'm kind of like,
it's a bit lukewarm. Yeah.
Well, what did they had before that? I can't remember.
The Vault and
wasn't the boat? Was
the
it?
Vault?
Wasn't
The
boat
Vault's been out for a while. Yeah, it was the bow.
I know it's
I'm pretty
Rampage.
sure the bow. Yeah, Rampage. That was quite
Rampage
interesting, actually.
I thought it looked cooler on paper than it actually was. Like when I started using it, I was like, this kind of just feels like a Spitfire.
Yeah. I mean, the whole like charging it up is quite a cool element, I guess.
Yeah.
And it can like blow down doors. It like interacts with the environment different when it's charged as well.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, you're right. It's not bad. It's just I've just been thinking about that. I think it's whereas I think and I'm hopeful about what they do with Halo in terms of adding the things to it. And just because the way the game's built from the ground up, I just can't help but feel like adding a new piece of equipment is going to totally disrupt everything in the best possible way. You know, in the Halo way where it's just chaos. Like, you know, like what if they added like a grav lift, like the fact they used to have in Halo 3, you know, the one that just shot you upwards directly. There'd probably be no need for it because we've got repulsor and grappling hook, but you know, you get my point of how much that would throw the sandbox in, like, just in all over the place.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah. That's best.
I think it's quite interesting. The RPG category is kind of bare bones this year. I'm going to be honest. Somehow Cyberpunk's on there, right? Even though all of its blunders. Scarlet Nexus, big ups for Scarlet Nexus for being on there. I think that's quite an achievement.
The game looks fun.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and then obviously don't know the others. Tales of Arise. I've heard good things about Tales of Arise, but haven't heard of Shin Megami
Tensei. Yeah, I know of it, but yeah.
And And Monster Hunter Rise is obviously fantastic. We sunk a lot of hours into that. But yeah, I mean, you got to admit that's as far as RPGs go. I guess it's not really it wasn't really the year for RPGs, was it this year?
It's a bit of a weird category because it's not. There's no traditional Western RPG here. I mean, I guess Cyberpunk is, but I would say it's not traditional in the sense of, you know, its launch cycle and all of the controversies. Beyond that, Monster Hunter is like barely an RPG. You know, there's obviously elements of like you don't even level up, of like, you know, changing equipment on your character, but it's like not traditional. Scarlet Neck and the rest are JRPGs. So I think, when I look at that list, I'm kind of like, that's quite interesting. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just, I look at that and I'm like, this is an odd list.
yeah. And I don't know. You know, I can't talk much about the actual category, but I find it quite interesting. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't follow fighting games that much. But I find it quite interesting that Mortal Kombat's not on that list this year.
Where is it? Well, I can't find the.
It's right next to the role playing, literally just to the right.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I mean, yeah, like I say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Mortal Kombat probably has been in the best fighting game list award probably all the time, right? But Mortal Kombat 11 hasn't made this list. I didn't even know Virtual Fighter 5 was a thing, and it's on this list. I used to play Virtua Fighter. Didn't even know that came out. That's really interesting.
I don't think Mortal Kombat came out this year. I think that's why.
Oh, did it not?
I think it mopped up the categories last year, but I don't think it came out this year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's been out for over a year. Yeah, you're right. Because I remember there was a lot of like shock in the scene when the developers announced they're not supporting the game anymore, and it's just over a year old or something. And they basically said they're not going to be updating it anymore. Yeah, you're right. I guess that's why it's in there. Yeah, it's not in there. Sorry.
We should expect a reveal from them pretty soon, I think, in terms of that. We might even see the Game Awards in terms of their next reveal, which is coming up quite soon, actually.
Injustice? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, might be Justice. There has been mutters about them making a Marvel game as well. Injustice cool. Maybe. I like how Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is here because that game looks fucking wild. And obviously there's that Activision Metaverses game as well that they got announced this week, which is just some of the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's got like Batman and Shaggy in it from Scooby-Doo. And like, it's like, what is happening? Yeah. It's so weird that now is the time that everyone's like, right, let's make a Smash Bros clone. It's like, why now? Like, you've had... There's space for it. It's just like it's just weird timing. Also, can we agree that Melty Blood is a weird fucking name for a video game?
Such a weird name. Yeah, I remember when you first saw our mate on that, and you messaged the group like, "What the fuck is Melty Blood?"
So confused.
And it's made by French Bread as well. French Bread / Delightworks. Like, if I were to just look at that. Melty Blood type Lumina, French Bread Delightworks. I'm like, what am I tripping? Like, what am I reading right now? Oh god.
And obviously we've got Forza Horizon 5 in the best sports category. I mean, its only competition is FIFA, F1, Hot Wheels Unleashed there, which is quite cool. And Riders Republic looked kind of neat. I don't know if you saw anything about it, but it looked kind of neat.
I was always quite interested in that game. If that game makes its way to Games Pass, I'm going to be giving that a go for sure.
Give it a go. Yeah,
definitely looked quite interesting to me.
Agreed. Best family game is pretty much the Nintendo category. So
yeah, exactly. I tell you what, kind of shout outs to Knockout City for best multiplayer game, making it on there.
Yeah,
that's kind of hype. That game was fucking fun. Yeah,
it was good, man. Yeah, good for them. It was their first game, that studio. Obviously, they're published by EA, but it's their first game, I think.
Yeah, it was a great game. I love that game.
It was really good. Yeah. If we didn't have Apex constantly pulling our attention away from it, I think we'd have probably played it longer. Yeah, definitely. I like that a lot. We've got Best Sims strategy game. Flight Sim is there as well, of Age of Empires. Actually, I think I meant to say Xbox has kind of cleaned up in terms of Xbox / Bethesda has the most nominations can't remember the last time this has happened. I don't think we touched on this last week, but they've got like 20, and I think PlayStation has 12, or maybe Nintendo has 12. I can't remember. All I remember is that Xbox and Bethesda had 20, which is the publisher with the most nominations. So
Nice.
it's happening, bro. Multiplayer category. As we get towards the last few bits here, best multiplayer game: Back 4 Blood, It Takes Two, like you said, Knockout City, Monster Hunter Rise, New World, Valheim. I thought Valheim looked really fun. I know you were kind of a bit more lukewarm on it, but
I thought
really
it
want
looked
that
really
on
fun.
consoles. I really want that on
Yeah,
consoles.
no, I did think it looked quite fun, and I've watched quite a lot of YouTubers play it and stuff like that, and I do think it looks very interesting. I'd definitely be up for seeing that come to console and giving it a go.
Do you think Back 4 Blood has died?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. I don't follow the community on like Reddit or anything like that. I mean, for me, I'm thinking about it, and I can't really see myself going back to it. And I don't think it's because it's a bad game. I just think it's just being overshadowed by a lot of stuff at the moment. Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. I think its release window was a bit odd in terms of, I think it released well for its initial burst of players and stuff like that. But I think in terms of like retention and keeping players, its release window wasn't fantastic.
I think they did have a couple of problems with, there were bugs here and there, and they had some problems with like long-term engagement. I think, obviously they had the card system, but it worked in a bit of a weird way. I'm glad it was on Games Pass, is all I'll say, because it was good and I had a good amount of fun with it, and we put some good hours into it. I'd say we probably put like 20-30 hours into it, but it was fun for what it was. I mean, it won't win, but I'm glad it got a nomination, because it's not an easy thing to reboot, a Left 4 Dead thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know
that.
Go on.
Oh, I was going to say that most anticipated game section is fucking stacked.
That's so stacked. That's so nuts that's going to happen next year. Like, it's going to be, no one is going to come out of 2022 unscathed in terms of, like, everyone is going to feel hard done by at some point. I can't believe Starfield didn't get best like music. I can't believe Elden Ring got best. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, for everyone that's obviously not looking at the list, you got Elden Ring in there. You got the new God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, the new Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Starfield. It's pretty fucking stacked. And Elden Ring is right at the beginning of next year as well. It's literally in Jan, so I'm super hyped for that game.
It got delayed.
Is it February?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that quite recent?
It was like maybe 3 weeks ago now, but it was like really silent. They did it in like they didn't even really announce it. It just kind of happened.
I didn't catch wind of that. I assumed it was still Jan. Okay.
Yeah. I think it came out like a financial report. It was like, oh yeah, but for when the game gets released, and everybody was like, what, February? And they're like, oh yeah, sorry, game's coming out in February now. They just forgot to announce it.
Oh god, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is publishers spitting fire, all of them, Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox. So that's going to be quite the year to try and wade through the game of the year. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're done here. It's fun to go through these nominations. I think we didn't touch on indie game, but I just wanted to give another big ups to Death's Door. 12 Minutes was fun, but I just wanted to give big ups to them because that game was really, really good. Loved that game. Such a good soundtrack. Oh, all right, Tim. I'm going to do the thing I always do. I'm going to ask you if there's anything else that you want to go over today, or are you all good?
There's nothing. There's nothing I want to go over. I do feel like anyone who wants to look at this big old list of nominations and everything, we'll chuck the link in the description because obviously we've just been reading it off our end, so you can read it as we went through it for that last segment. But no, I think we pretty much covered everything. I just want to go back and play Halo. So end it.
The grind
Close
continues.
it off.
Lovely. All right, everyone. Well, as we edge ever closer to December, I hope you're feeling festive. I hope you're getting tree up, advent calendars on the go. We will catch you next week. Have a lovely, wonderful, good old time.
hot chocolate.
Bye.
Bye.